Hey there, and welcome to Tales from the Firesides. I'm Clive Gilson, although some folks just call me the story guy, and I'm really glad you're here. Today, I've got a real gem for you, an old Serbian favourite called Lying for a Wager, and I think you'll find it in my collection Tales from the Samodivi, but I've dusted it off and polished it up just for you today. So, grab a cosy spot, maybe a warm drink, and let's dive into a world full of magic, mischief, and a little bit of mystery. One morning, a father handed his son a sack of corn and said, "Take this to the mill, but listen, don't grind it anywhere you see a guy named Beardless. He's clever, slick, and more trouble than he's worth." The boy set off down the road and came to a small mill by the river. Sure enough, there stood a man with a trimmed beard and a mischievous sparkle in his eye. "Hey there, Beardless," the boy greeted him. "Hey yourself, kid," said the man. "You need the mill? I'm almost done with my stuff, so you can use it after me." But the boy remembered his father's warning. He thanked the man and kept walking. The boy hadn't gone far before reaching another mill, but when he got there, somehow, Beardless was already waiting, dropping corn into the grinder. Confused, the boy turned around and walked to a third mill, and the same thing happened. Beardless was already there, smiling like he'd been waiting forever. By the fourth mill, the boy gave up. "Fine," he sighed. "I guess you're going to be everywhere today, aren't you?" As the boy's corn began to grind, Beardless leaned over and said, "Hey, how about we bake a loaf with your flour?" The boy hesitated, but then nodded. "Oh, all right." They mixed water and flour into a giant round of dough, built a fire together, and baked the loaf until it was golden and steaming. Then they set it against a stone wall to cool. Beardless looked at the boy and said, "Now, let's play a game. We'll take turns telling the biggest, most ridiculous lies we can think of. Whoever tells the biggest whopper gets the whole loaf." The boy shrugged. "Sure, you first." Beardless launched into a wild series of stories. Castles made of cheese, cats who ruled kingdoms, rivers of jam, etc. When he finally ran out of steam, the boy said, "Nice try, but listen to this." The boy leaned in with a grin. "When I was an old man," he said, "back when I was still a kid, I used to count our beehives every morning. I could count the bees just fine, but never the hives. One day I saw our best bee was missing, so I saddled up our rooster and rode him to the sea." Beardless blinked, but the boy kept going. "Sure enough, I spotted my bee across the water, pulling a plough for some farmer. I shouted, 'Hey, that's my bee!' and the guy handed her over, along with a sack of millet. On the way back, the sack ripped and the millet spilled into the sea. Years later, that millet grew up into a stalk so tall it touched the sky. I climbed it, found heaven and everything. And what a surprise! Someone up there had already baked a loaf from my millet and was dunking it in warm milk." Beardless raised an eyebrow, but the boy was on a roll. "Yes, I got some holy water while I was up there, but a storm had washed away my millet ladder, so I braided my long hair into a rope, tied a knot to rest on, and climbed down. I needed fire to see. I broke a needle from my coat and made a bonfire with it. I slept brilliantly until the fire burned through the rope and I fell straight into the earth up to my belt." Beardless opened his mouth, but the boy didn't stop. I ran home for a shovel, dug myself out, and gave the holy water to my father, who'd just been born. Then I went to the fields, where the corn was so tall the workers were melting from the heat. I brought out our giant mare, 2 days long and a day wide, with trees growing on her back. She gave enough shade for everyone. Later, I went to fetch water. The pond was frozen, though, so I used my head to crack the ice. But when I got back to the field, the workers asked where my head was. I'd left it by the water. When I ran back, a fox was nibbling on my brains. By now, Beardless was looking totally alarmed. The boy continued, though. I chased the fox, and he dropped a little book. I picked it up, and I read this: "The whole loaf is for me, and Beardless gets nothing." With that, the boy snatched the loaf, tucked it under his arm, and sprinted down the road, laughing. Beardless, meanwhile, stood by the fire, staring after him with nothing but smoke and crumbs for company. And that's a wrap for today's story. This one was adapted from the original story in a book called Serbian Folk-lore by Madame Elodie L, Mijatovich, published by the Columbus Printing, Publishing and Advertising Company in 1899. As you know, I love digging up these old treasures and giving them a bit of a modern glow, keeping those old stories alive and kicking for new listeners and readers just like you. If you're hungry for more stories, you can check out my books at Amazon, and there is a link at the bottom of the screen and in the description below for this particular book. If you want to know more about Tales from the World's Firesides, or me, Clive Gilson, your friendly neighbourhood story guy, then pop over to clivegilson.com. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help other people to find these stories too. And if you're not subscribed already, well, come on, join and see what you can find out. I've got brand new tales loading every single week. Until next time, though, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, and keep the magic alive. Catch you soon. Take care.